I want to talk with you guys a little bit, John, if it's okay, and I'm happy to, if you have questions for me as well. I just want to talk a little bit about, a little more broadly speaking, about what it is that we aspire to accomplish here in achieving the mission that we've set out for the company, our vision and where we are heading. And I also really want to check in with our leaders in the Pacific. As John said, you have all been doing amazing things over the last several years, and you continue to do amazing things. We just had another global update, had all of our market leadership from around the 50 countries that we do business in giving updates. And I can tell you that, man, directly following that January meeting in Hawaii, coronavirus hit us, this global pandemic, and the stock market crashed. New Skin stock plummeted along with everyone else. Unemployment shot up. People around the globe started to, all of the globalization halted. And for a brief period of time, we all started to ask the questions, globally, what will become of the world in which we live, and also New Skin. Well, I'm happy to report to you today that, and those who listened to the investor call in our first quarter, you heard that actually the company actually did quite a bit better than what the general Wall Street was predicting. And I can tell you that we just continue to be pleased at what's happening around the world. I actually can't wait to see what you all do in the next few quarters, especially as we ramp up to Boost. In fact, I laughed when John pulled it out of his pocket, because the LumaSpa out of his pocket, because Boost is actually built to actually carry and use on a daily basis on the go, a single treatment. I mean, it's just going to be awesome for you to build your business around, and you won't have to carry a big bulky microphone in your pocket like John does. But we'll talk about product a little bit later. What I want to jump into real quickly here today is our passion around this topic of empowerment. And you know what, we've been talking now, I've been in this role as president for 3 years. Prior to that, I spent about 15 years out in Asia or in Europe running businesses around the globe. And I can tell you, as you all know, that the number one need in the world today is, in fact, opportunity. People are seeking opportunity, and even more so than ever before, what we're finding from younger and younger generations as they watch their parents grow up and have full-time jobs, that they themselves don't really want to replicate a life where they feel like they're working in the office all day long. And so they're looking for opportunities to be more flexible and to have a more fulfilling life. In fact, the best statistic I always refer to is a McKinsey study that describes that 67%, almost 7 out of 10 millennials today are seeking for independent work opportunities rather than traditional employment. Given the current employment statistics, that's probably a good thing, that their aspirations are to be independent. Now that's twice as many, by the way, of my generation, Gen Xers, where we were about 35, 36% of people looking for opportunities independently. And so there's this enormous macro shift in the economy that is fueling what we now call the gig economy. And you are all familiar with that term. I'm sure companies like Uber and Grab up in Southeast Asia, or GoCheck in China, are taking the world by storm. They really have been disrupting the employment space now for quite some time. But I'll tell you, and I'm sure you've been watching the news, certainly in the United States, but we're seeing it elsewhere, as regulators attempt to understand these gig companies, they're starting to worry about, and they're putting new regulations in that is changing even the dynamics for giggers or for independent contractors in gig economies. In addition to that, we're seeing that the needs that people have, that entrepreneurs have, goes well beyond just the flexibility of working when I want, and it goes into the fulfillment side of doing something I love. I always joke that Uber, and I should be careful to use them, but some of these companies are the best marketers in the world because somehow they've convinced people to go do the worst thing possible, which is to sit in traffic for 10 hours a day for minimum wage. And that's just, when you start to add it up, while people love the flexibility of a traditional gig, they also want fulfillment. Well, that's really where we come in. As you all know, Nu Skin is all about empowering people to improve lives. And we've been doing that now for over 35 years. I joined the company, this is my 26th year, and so a relatively early join to the company, but we were already moving down this track of empowering people. What we had no idea would happen is the macro trends of the economy would move into our favor. So a few years ago, as Rich took the CEO spot and I was asked to be the president, returning from Asia, running our businesses in North Asia, I really started to look at what we were aspiring to accomplish. In other words, what was the vision, or what is the vision of the company? Now, at the time, we had a vision that was a very aspirational vision, which was to become the world's leading direct sales company. We all know that direct selling is a global business platform that generates roughly $190 billion a year. Around the globe, in many markets. The US market, for example, generates about 32 billion to 34 billion per year in that. Well, along comes the gig economy, and no longer is direct selling the only gig in town, no pun intended. What starts to happen is people begin to have greater and greater opportunities, and the gig economy comes about, and now the gig economy is reported at $2.3 trillion and growing by 19% a year. And so this enormous economy that's roughly the size, close to the size now of the Japan economy, the entire country of Japan, measured by GDP, is growing at 19, almost 20% a year. And as we were sitting there thinking about the vision of the company and what it was that we aspired to do, I felt like the vision of becoming the world's leading direct seller was frankly looking at only a very narrow slice of this enormous pie of opportunity economy. And so we retooled it, and we understood the trends that were taking place around the globe. We understood the gig economy, and we said, our new vision, we aspire to be the world's leading opportunity platform. Now, I get all of the time, Ryan, you talk about being the world's leading opportunity platform, but really, what is that? What are you trying to build and trying to accomplish in this move? It's very simple, frankly. A platform, in a traditional sense, is a mechanism that's usually technology enabled, that's intended to connect two types of customers, as John talked about. At Nu Skin, we have two customers that we obsess about. We have you, our sales leaders, and our leadership that go out and drive the business and empower people to improve lives. And on the other side, we have the consumers whom you're selling those products to, the nutrition products, the personal care products. The desire of Nu Skin is to empower you, to enable you through technology to connect more effectively through social, mobile, digital-first capabilities to connect with more and more entrepreneurs who are like-minded, who aspire to build their own businesses, to leverage their own influencing market, micro-influencers, influencers alike, to then drive businesses of end consumers in a more effective model. And so that's what we've been doing. We have been undertaking this job over the last 2.5 years to build the world's leading opportunity platform. Now, I can tell you, for a company that was born outside of the digital era, this is not easy. In fact, this has been the most painful part of my 26 years in the company. But I can tell you, we are making progress. Our technology and our investments in digital have never been bigger, and they've never been better. Our technology is becoming more stable. Our website is getting better. In fact, I'm happy to report that as of last month, 88% of the company's revenue is now being generated online, directly to consumers and to our entrepreneurs. I mean, that's an amazing feat when you think about it. For a company that was born in what I call the analog era, meaning the pre-internet era, to now have nearly 90% of our business that's being conducted online, digital first, is an amazing feat. And I can tell you the investments that we're making there are enabling us to move at a pace much faster than ever before, and I can't wait for the future. You're going to be hearing about new technologies that are coming out. In addition to the products we're launching, a new technology called Vera, which is a personalization product recommendation app that will be made available to you all. I'm not sure in the Pacific, but it should be around the end of this year, early next year. That is going to be using artificial or AI and machine learning, ML technologies, to create and curate personal recommendations based on a face scan and a questionnaire. Now think about that. We're going to be able to leverage data and picture graphics in order to create customized regimens of product that you can then provide to your customers. That's the sort of technology capability that we're building into this opportunity platform. And there's so much more to come. So we're already down this path of building it. Let me just highlight a couple of other elements that are so critical to this evolution of becoming the world's leading opportunity platform. You are all extremely familiar with velocity by now. I can tell you, I'm the chairman of the U.S. Direct Selling Association, which represents about 180 industry companies, 134 member direct sellers. So all of the big names that you know around the globe sit on this council. Many of them are my colleagues and peers and friends, frankly, some of my best friends that sit in other direct sales companies. And we talk about the challenges of being a traditional multi-level marketing company. We talk about the reputation challenges that come when you go out and try to represent a legitimate, viable business, and you have to use terminology that sounds typical 1980s or 1970s or 1960s multi-level marketing, when you have to talk about generations and levels and all of these different terms, and people get confused and they don't really understand what the model is all about. Several years ago, some of our commissions teams and myself, we sat around and we began to make a list, and this was under our prior CEO's leadership, Truman Hunt. We began to make a list of all of the stigmas, the negative associations of multi-level marketing compensation plans. Topics like, well, you must pay to play, meaning you must buy personal product in order to get commission. We talked about the fail that's built inherently into every program, the lack of flexibility, the lack of ability to receive commissions upon doing the work. There were so many negative stigmas associated with direct selling, and we began to ideate around an idea of what if we could build a plan, a business model that truly enabled people to do the right behaviors at the right time and to be rewarded in a way that is intelligible, that is rewarding, and what we describe as fast, flexible, and fulfilling. And that was really the basic foundation of what we now call velocity. This business model, I can tell you, is built to do what we're talking about doing, becoming the world's leading opportunity platform. As I sit as chairman of the USDSA and I talk to these other companies, they all look at our compensation plan now, and they really sincerely are asking me at every meeting, how did you go about changing this business model and creating such a fast, flexible, and fulfilling business model? The reality is this plan is built to be fast. In other words, to reward someone who quickly sets up a business to be able to receive income from setting up that business almost immediately on a daily basis is really unheard of in the industry or in the broader gig economy today. If you imagine someone can download our business, go online, register to become an affiliate, start posting and sharing products, and they immediately, within the same day, receive a sharing bonus. There aren't too many opportunities in the gig economy even that allow people to be compensated so quickly and up for business in a turnkey manner like our business. When we talk about flexibility, this is a really important part of the velocity business model and of what we believe the future needs to look like. After all, as I said at the beginning, the number one need in the world today is opportunity. Not just opportunity for privileged, but opportunity for every socioeconomic class on the planet. That's what we're aspiring to achieve. The velocity business model has been built in a very flexible manner to accommodate success at every level, individually speaking. If someone simply wants to share product, there is success in the model for sharers. If someone is more interested in building a small team of sharers and building a community that they can associate with, we have a plan for them. And of course, as Nu Skin has always been known as the leadership company, we have a leadership-driven compensation structure that rewards. So sharers, builders, and leaders. Now, it's important for us to already recognize that even in the few short years that we've applied velocity to our business, and by the way, thank you again to the Pacific for being the pilot market and taking this out and proving this model out. Our leaders down there, all of you who stood behind it, recognizing that this was a new venture, you have carved the path and the way for the rest of the world to follow. We're now seeing enormous shifts in our business, and I have no doubt it's in great part due to the innovation and your adoption in the specifics of this plan. But when we look today, about 89% of all the entrepreneurs in Nu Skin are solely sharing products. They are sharers in the business. Around 10% of our entrepreneurs are building teams of sharers, and about 1% of people are leading large organizations. So that's an important thing. 89, 10, and 1. We have a compensation and a business model that enables success across every level. So again, the velocity business model is critical for the opportunity platform, and it's critical for you to be able to go out and, regardless of who you meet, knowing that 7 out of 10 people today are looking for independent opportunities, the question is, how do you position the Nu Skin opportunity that appeals to them in a way that resonates with them? That's the intent around the flexible business model. The last component of this is around fulfillment. We know that this world does not move on money as much as people believe it does. The world moves on purpose, especially as we move into the expanding economy that we're looking at today. The world is in need of opportunity. You are opportunity ambassadors. You are empowerers. What you have and what we have at Nu Skin, everyone wants. They may not be ready to act on it. They may not have the confidence to do it. They may not be ready in their time of life, or they may have misconceived notions of what multi-level marketing is and what an opportunity platform can do for them. I have no doubt with our leadership, with you and your experience in building businesses and helping micro entrepreneurs to set up their own businesses and build a future for themselves, that you will be able to know how to approach these people in a way that truly appeals to them. My last thought here that I want to share with you is really simply around this short trip we have around the sun on this earth and on this planet. You know, I am constantly inspired by the leaders at Nu Skin, and each one of those videos in the opening segments is a story about an individual who had an aspirational dream or a vision for themselves, and they chose Nu Skin as a vehicle to enable them to leverage their experience and their expertise and their passion and their ambition to fuel them towards their dream. At the end of the day, we don't have a lot of time on this planet, and we can choose to spend that time wherever we like. My hope for us all today on this call is that we kind of leave this meeting more inspired, more desirous to find people around the world, our friends, our families, our colleagues, our connections, people who are in need of opportunity. Find a way to bring Nu Skin to them. Find a way to help them to see that this is their life. They can create a vision and they can live their life according to their way. So your life, your vision, your way has become somewhat of something of a personal mantra for me as I think about and speak about the Nu Skin business. I hope you all have as much joy and passion and desire to change lives as I do, as our team does, as John and Sam and Gil and our team down in the Pacific, our teams of Tyler at the region level, Rich. We are all just 150% bought in to the mission of this company. We have no doubt that there's a very unique time right now that we are all facing, an opportunity that we are all facing that is in front of us, where people are asking questions that they haven't asked in a long time. We hope to be that answer for people. And so I just encourage you to not be bashful, to wear new skin with pride, and to help us spread this mission around the globe. And with that, John, I'll shut up now. I want to thank you all for listening, and I hope that you have an amazing virtual conference the next day or so as we learn more about how we're going to go out and take this mission and vision to the world. Thank you very much.